This is live.
Okay. Where would you like to start?
Well, who are you?
I'm Nick Cementa. You're Jason Pelker. Okay, just checking. And this is our first broadcast of Big Balls, Small Nut. Jason and I have been self-employed pretty much since we met. I'd say that's accurate. And have continued to just kind of find a way to survive without getting completely entangled into other people's employment situations.
Yeah. So I'm Jason, and I've been working for myself for over 6 years now. There's been a couple moments where I did try and work for other people, and it didn't go very well. What about you?
I recently just came off a stint of 30 days, actually as a C-level executive for a company, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life.
So you made it a month.
I made it a whole month.
Okay, I made it 6 weeks.
That's better.
It was good. It was a good experience. I think I fainted being much more upset with the exit situation than I was, but yeah, I was working harder than I ever would work for myself, and I was getting paid less, significantly less, especially for the amount of work I was doing. So, what do you do right now?
Currently, I own a couple printing companies.
A couple?
And, yes, one does wood, one does apparel.
Okay.
And then I do some design work and some marketing consulting work from home. And then the majority of my time is spent looking for things that I like, getting broker contracts from those companies, and then going and selling those products.
Okay.
So,
what do I do? I'm doing marketing consulting as well, and I'm putting together my own managed web host product that I hope to launch a beta of maybe in the next week. I've been working on that for, all told, 3 years, but I've finally started getting the pieces together within the last 2 months. Oh, by the way, we're in Chicago. This is where we're from. I've been back in Chicago for a month. I was in Mexico for 8 months prior to that, and I think it really helped me reset. So, yeah, I am doing way better work now than before I left, and I am, where'd you go? Oh, you had to get coffee.
Yeah, it's still early.
Okay.
It is early.
Yeah, we don't want to not drink on camera. That would be silly. It's what time is it? It's like 8:30.
Yeah, it's about 8:30 in the morning. I actually have a client meeting at 10 I gotta roll out for and go to another coffee shop. So I figured, 2 cups of coffee at home, maybe 3 or 4 at the coffee shop.
At least.
And that way I can get back here on the bike in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah. Speaking of 8:30, before I went to Mexico, there's no way in hell I would be awake right now.
Really?
No way.
Oh, wow.
No, I slept often until 11 a.m. But now, I wake up very excited. I want to work.
Well, absolutely, I do too. And having a 3-year-old, the best time for me to get work done is waking up far before she wakes up.
Yeah, Nick's got a 3-year-old. Oh, and a wife. And me, because I'm staying with Nick while I'm in Chicago. Would you say that's a plus or a minus?
I would say it's a full circle.
Yeah.
So the first time you left for South America and came back, I had moved into your home.
So I owe you.
And so this time you went to South America and came back, and I owed you a home to move into.
I shouldn't have told you I was coming back.
No, you should have just been sleeping in the guest room bed with Orange pawing into your mouth while you snored.
Orange is Nick's cat.
Technically, it's my wife's cat.
Technically, it's the world's cat.
It really is the world's cat.
Yeah.
Speaking of cats and employment, so my last stint, you said that your exit was very unpleasant. Mine was very much like breaking up with a girl that I didn't want to be with. I sat my employer down and was like, it's not you, it's me. I am an outside cat.
It's not me, it's you.
I literally said, I am an outside cat,
Uh-huh.
and I will never be comfortable inside. this home of yours.
Yeah.
And I would like to help you, but not here.
So let's talk about what this job was like. This 30-day gig. What was a typical day at this job?
A typical day would be I wake up at about 8 o'clock and start working here at home, and then by 9:30, 10, I get a panicked phone call from the office that something terrible has happened and is missing.
Every day, something terrible.
Almost every single day. I would then get in an Uber and be driven to Northbrook for about 45 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Upon my arrival, I would find out that the fire that I was there to put out was in fact not a fire at all. It was just someone not looking.
Right.
On a constant basis, they would be like, "Oh my God, files are gone. This is me." I'd get there, I'd click a mouse, there are the files.
So it was just
Panic,
stupidity, mostly.
Constant panic.
Yeah. Not knowing how to use a computer.
No, I think it's really just reactionary behavior. The whole executive staff there is kind of, they're like shell-shocked. They're so used to being yelled at on such a constant basis that they don't know how to not be reactionary. They don't know how to just calm down and plan and function and focus.
Yeah, and it really is. It's a question of how you look at things. There's always something that's wrong with any situation or product or just life. Like, there's always something that's not optimal, right?
It's an imperfect world, Jason.
It's an imperfect world.
Screws fall out.
Screws fall out all the time.
All the time.
Now, are you gonna look at the things that aren't perfect, and are you gonna freak out about them? I mean, you have options, right? You can freak out, you can ignore them, or you can look at it as an opportunity for improvement. It's like a challenge.
And that's, when you are self-employed, when you are a one-man show, that is your life. You constantly are challenged with adversity, and you find yourself fixing those situations every day.
Usually that means money.
Absolutely.
Like, if there's something broken, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've had jobs where I wasn't able to identify things that were broken, and I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely hated it. Whenever I found something was broken, I was told to focus on my job. That did not last very long. There's no way that was going to last very long.
Well, you may recall before this, the last corporate gig I had when I was working at the big media company downtown, and they had me doing research, and I found out that you could just click together a bunch of RSS feeds and it would do the research for you. And
what is research?
It was looking up other people's articles about large companies so that we could publish them.
Oh, that's
the
internet. That's what the internet does.
That is exactly what the internet does. And there was a whole room full of people being paid a ridiculous salary to do this task. And I was outperforming the rest of the room, and I didn't look like I was doing any work because I was literally just using the internet.
Oh, yeah.
So at one point I became really, really frustrated by the fact that I was getting asked on a daily basis why it didn't look like I was working.
Yeah, that's the thing about working at an office. You get punished for doing your job really well.
Yeah. No, like, they were like, why does it not look like you're working? And why are you complaining about my numbers? No, your numbers are great. Well, then what are you complaining about? Well, it doesn't look like you're working very hard.
No. So I read this book a couple months ago. It's called something to the extent of results-oriented workplace, and it's a story of these consultants that invented a work methodology that they implemented throughout the executive ranks of Best Buy, wherever Best Buy is located, Maryland or wherever, and they were very successful at it. And the only reason that you don't hear about this methodology these days is because Best Buy actually they rolled it back right when the recession hit. They fired everybody in the top levels, and of course what happens when top levels come in, they have to change things to be changing things, and so they got rid of the results-oriented workplace. And the results-oriented workplace is actually really interesting. It's not just the fact that your numbers are all that matters, it's that you can't give people shit for whatever it is that they do that is not work-related, right? Like, if someone comes in at 11 o'clock, if someone doesn't come into work, you can't bust their balls, because when you do that, you're psychologically affecting both them and yourself, and it makes the work suffer.
Absolutely.
So
quality goes down if nothing else.
Right, and so how can you have a results-oriented workplace if you're terrorizing your coworkers? You can't. So you have to let them do the things that they need and want to do, and I think that's basically what we do. We get paid on performance. I personally don't get paid a lot, but I'm working towards that direction. But at the end of the day, I can only get new clients, and I can only keep the clients that I have based on the results.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I get to do things like live in Mexico. I literally have a client who doesn't know that I was in Mexico for the last 8 months. They have no clue. I just stopped. They would have weekly meetings for no reason, and I just stopped going to those meetings. And they didn't really worry about it. So.
No, they care about the performance.
Well, they don't actually care about anything. That's the reason I stopped going to those meetings. Yeah, but I have some other clients that I've been very honest with because I care whether or not I keep those contracts. And I'm gonna be traveling around the summer. I've got one more week in Chicago, but then I'm gonna go to California, do some camping there, head up the West Coast, swing back across the country to New York City, and then I'll be in Asheville, North Carolina for a month or so after that. And then I have a big trip planned.
Big trip.
Those are little trips. I have a big trip planned in the fall. I'm going to go to Colombia, South America, for 3 months or so, and then I'm going to go to Argentina after that.
Very cool.
That's what I'm doing.
That's your life.
That's my life. I
always find it interesting that most of the people that I interact with on a daily basis, they tell me that they are working towards this like, I don't want to call it fictitious, but this imaginary number in their head that they have to accumulate before they can live the lifestyle that you have been living for the last several years.
Yeah, they've got
making almost nothing. Like, you don't make a ton.
No.
You don't make enough to live in any major city around the clock well. Here in the U.S.
I wouldn't say that I don't make enough to do that. I would rather live easily, and there's ways like I could do house sitting and stuff like that where I wouldn't have any living expenses. But as of right now, I pay my own rents when I travel.
Yeah.
There's always a way. There's always a hustle.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying that I wouldn't say you live badly, but I wouldn't say that you live what a young urban professional would consider comfortably.
No, I don't drive a car.
Nope, and you don't stay in fancy hotels. And
I don't do hotels.
Nope. But what you do is you go to the places and you experience the moments that these people have invented in their mind that cost this money. And that's the thing. Like, your life, when you look back on it, is this collection of moments that you remember for one reason or another.
Yeah.
And all of these people are sitting around working and trying to stockpile money so they can go grab these moments.
I can't even imagine what it feels like to be in an office wanting to do something and not doing it.
It's mind-blowing. I used to feel like a caged animal. I was in the 70th floor of the Aon building with one of the most spectacular views one could have from their office, and all I could think to myself was, man, it sucks to have a view like this and be constantly reminded that I'm in here.
No, it's like a prison cell.
Yeah, all of my coworkers are like, isn't this view great? I'm like, no, because I'm in here.
Yeah, it's
and
not
having
good
to
enough.
look out there and see all of the happy, wonderful people, the boats in the harbor. I'm here.
The world is out there.
Yeah, the world is out there.
Mm-hmm.
We are in a glass cage of emotions.
Yeah.
And must escape.
I haven't thought about this since I had this job. One of my first jobs I got out of college was about 10 years ago. It was for where I was at. I was living in Florida, and it was a good job. It was at a financial institution, and it had a great campus, and the building that I was working in had lots and lots of windows, right? Mm-hmm. And I would walk over to those windows and just stare out them, because it doesn't matter how good the job is, and the job wasn't that good, but it doesn't matter. It's the fact that I wanted to be outside. For my lunches, I would make a beeline outside, and I would sleep in the grass.
Absolutely.
For like 40 minutes. And that was my body telling me that this is what I want. I want to be outside. I want to be where I want to be.
The saddest thing about my existence is that the reason I'm a smoker is because I picked up the habit of smoking because smokers got to go outside more often at the office.
You get a break. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't smoke, you aren't allowed to leave.
No, it's very weird, but they're like, oh, are you damaging your body? Please, go outside and enjoy some nature while you do that. Yeah. And at first, I didn't even smoke cigarettes. I used to buy the little cigars, and I would just light them up and walk around outside. It was it took like 6 months before someone finally called me out and was like, are you even smoking? I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely, smoking, boss.
Yeah.
Just so that I could stay out there. I became a chain smoker because I was like, well, if I'm still holding one, I'm still on break.
Yeah.
I'd sometimes suck down 3 cigarettes, not because I wanted 3 cigarettes, because I wanted 10, 15 minutes of sunshine without being in fresh air.
One of my favorite things about working in an office is the period of time in between your 2-week notice and when you actually leave the company, and then you do all the shit that you always wanted to do but you didn't do before
because you were afraid to get fired.
Exactly. Like once that 2 weeks is in, you don't care.
It's like the last 2 weeks of senior year of high school. Like you're just pretty much doing whatever the fuck you want. You're like, I've already been accepted in the college of my choice.
You're phoning it in.
Yeah, exactly.
You're really phoning it in. So I do.
You're more than phoning it in. Phoning it in would be nice. You're texting it in.
You're texting it in. You're sending a carrier pigeon.
Exactly.
To let them know that you're alive.
You're texting a friend that still works there to let them know that you might come in to pick up your paycheck at that point.
Well, so this is my favorite thing about the 2-week notice is 2.5-hour lunches.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because why would you not take a 2.5-hour lunch?
What are they going to do?
You're at lunch.
They're going to fire you?
What I like even more is taking people who haven't put in their 2-week notice out to these lunches.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then they're freaking out. They're like twitching that they're not back at work, and I'm just like.
And I'll walk in and be like, it's mine. It's my fault.
Yeah, it's my bad.
I did this.
Time got away from us. I'm sorry. 2.5-hour lunch. It's really fun too when it's just like right around the corner from the office building, and you're so close. You're just so close, but you're not actually in the building. Yeah. So okay, what I want to do, I assume we're gonna be doing this pretty regularly. We're gonna be chit-chatting on the old internet regularly. So we should talk really briefly about the stuff that we worked on this week, right? Like it's Friday. What have you done this week?
I tried to organize, as you know, we've been playing with this lead system of trying to farm people, desperate people that are trying to...
I know the system. Nick, tell everyone else about the system.
So, Jason and I were discussing where one finds marketing leads and what kind of clients are interesting people. And we were trying to figure out where you would find people like us that have hit a point where they can't scale themselves and they need help. So they have some service-based or product-based business that is essentially them. They're a one-man operation, and now they need to automate some shit. And the first place they go is Craigslist because they don't know any better. And how do you refine those people out of there while also sifting through which ones are completely cat shit crazy? So we've been testing and retesting and testing and retesting, trying to figure out how to pull the smart people and the workable people out of that kind of massive jumble of lunacy and the wild west of information that is Craigslist.
How do you do that?
Well, we've been testing some different emails. We've been looking for keywords that help us determine which people, like the commonalities in the posts of people that we're looking for, and trying to determine and kind of drill down keywords for when we're searching for those types of posts. We've looked at different ways of searching from state to state instead of staying in one place.
Yeah.
We've looked at ways of filtering out people who will allow telecommuting, people who aren't already married to the fact that they think that you need to sit next to them to work with them. Which is crazy. I mean, this is wonderful that we're sitting next to each other, but this may be the last time we ever have this like this.
I'm actually just going to get my brain removed from my body.
I've wanted that for a long time.
Yeah.
Because then you can have the strength of 10 gorillas and 2 penises.
Right.
As we all know.
I think it's a better move. Okay, so you've been trying to figure out a good system to sift through the nonsense that is Craigslist. And have you had any results?
Well, yeah, we've had about a 9 to 10% open rate on what we've been sending out, which is great.
Yeah, because some of this shit is robots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Craigslist is filled with robots.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, we've actually had a 9 to 10% response email back rate.
Yeah.
And we've had about a 2% engagement rate with people that are moving forward with actually working with us.
Probably like a 50% open rate.
Yeah.
Let's
probably
just
like
say,
a 50% open rate.
Let's just throw it out there.
Let's just say that there's probably a 50% open rate on these emails.
So 50% robots, 50% humans.
And then of those 50% of the humans, 20% of that is actually hitting us back. And of those 10 that are hitting us back, we're maybe engaging with 1, maybe 2 tops.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, in my opinion. If we're getting a 1% response rate of conversion from just random Craigslist people.
And there's also a lot of like almosts. Like
there's been a lot of almosts.
Yeah,
with some of the, and
normal.
that's trying to figure some things out too, because it's been very interesting. You know, it's Craigslist, so you have this double-edged sword where people are like, well, how do I know you're not crazy?
Yeah,
and it's like, well,
it's the Craigslist penis effect.
Yeah, exactly. It's
well, honestly, so the penis effect is actually, it's a real thing. It's a phenomenon where if you respond to an ad on Craigslist and you don't send a picture of your dick, you're actually in like the top 2% of all applicants at that point, just by not sending a picture of your dick.
So that's step one. If
that's
you're
step number one.
You're gonna work with Craigslist. Don't. And I know it's tempting.
It's really.
I know you're sitting there and you're just like, wait, I want this job. I should let them see my dick.
I should just get it out there. Yeah. They're gonna see it anyway. Why wait till the job interview?
Exactly. HR.
Right.
Needs to see my penis now.
Just put it there. Maybe make a website for your dick. And then
my
you can
dick
just
actually has its own resume. On its own separate website. It's a video resume. I hired a ventriloquist.
So really, you're pretty far ahead of the game.
I am. TalkingDick.com.
And okay, so there's been a lot of almosts, and I think there has been one in the last week. There's been
one conversion.
One person.
And possibly a second.
Possibly a second. And what's the conversion on this?
We've sent out 98 total emails.
Yeah, but what are you trying to get?
Just $250 to sit down and plan out their next moves.
It's a road mapping session.
It's a road mapping session. The commonality between all these people is they are in a position where they're like, I have 90 things going on now and I can't take care of it all, so I think a website will fix it.
Right.
And we're coming in and saying you don't actually need a website to fix it. You need some processes and some plan to fix it.
Because websites apparently don't solve everything.
Well, it goes back to 5 years ago, 6 years ago when you and I first started working together, when we were talking about the fact that the internet is not a magic money machine, and for some reason entrepreneurs and business owners seem to think that you just like it's like the Fonz in a soda, like you bang the side of the internet and money falls out the bottom. I'm not sure why.
Well, it's always been that way, right? Like before, it's advertising. Advertising is the answer to everything.
Internet money.
Even before the internet, people were throwing ads on TV, they were throwing ads in newspapers, very little confirmation that any of this advertising was actually doing anything, because they weren't testing, they weren't using codes or anything like that. They were just like, if I throw money at this problem, it'll go away.
Well, Henry Ford started it all, man. Henry Ford said that a man who stops spending money on advertising is a man who grabs the hands of a clock to save time.
Okay.
So he was like, if you're trying to save money by not buying ads, and this was a man who was looked at as probably one of the greatest industrialists of our time.
Sure.
And he's out there spouting off that the reason Ford is so successful is that we spend. We're out there. We're doing.
Well, yeah. If you can be the person who spends the most amount of money, yes. That can usually
You can buy opinion in this country. In a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Actually.
If you have enough money.
Well, everything in life is a very simple formula.
Yeah.
Everything in life is a function of time and money. The two things are interchangeable, but only one is irreplaceable. Right. I have not yet found a way to create more time for myself.
Yeah.
But if you have enough money, you can probably cheat death.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Robot head.
Robot head.
So, yeah, and of course, being number one at anything is completely underrated. If you have the most amount of money to spend, you can make something happen, right?
Absolutely.
You can make something happen, maybe.
I mean, you watch Shark Tank.
Yeah. Well,
how many times? Well, I do.
I don't.
And I love when someone comes in and they're like, well, we have passion. And the first thing out of Mr. Wonderful's mouth is, that's wonderful. So, how much money would it cost for me to completely crush your passionate business? Like, instead of giving it to you, if you want $200,000 from me and you're telling me this business is worth $1 million, if I spend $1 million, could I just take the whole business away from you?
Yes, the answer is yes.
And they're all 99% of the time they're like, well, no, because you don't have my passion. He goes, no, you can buy passion.
Yeah, you can employ passion.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of 22-year-olds who are very passionate
about something.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, moving on. So Craigslist stuff is
doing pretty good.
It's doing pretty good. So is that all you've worked on this week?
No. Well, I mean, managing the print shops is, that's where the majority of my money comes in from.
Yeah.
So just kind of keeping up with contacts, going out. Yesterday I got a call from a pizza shop. And that's the other thing. If you're going to be a designer or a printer, have nice fucking cards.
Have nice cards.
Nice cards. Have really nice business cards.
Yeah.
I have always, as you know, had some of the nicest business cards of anybody, and I don't want to be like a dick like that. I'm going to actually show them.
They're made of titanium.
I had metal ones at one point. These ones are the new ones.
Oh, these are the human skin ones.
These are the human skin ones. So these were my old ones, which were a spot gloss and a wood, and they were really pretty. And
I don't know if we can see that. It's blurry.
Yeah, this is my information's blurred out, so you don't call me.
We'll hold it back here.
And then this is the new one, which is more like a space station key.
Yeah.
And
these are both nice.
They're little tricks. They both have spot glossing on them. They both have like some little extra design kicks to them that make them look different and stand out. They're both really, really thick stock paper.
It gives people with epilepsy seizures.
Absolutely.
Which is what you want.
But yeah, the idea is to remind people like, hey, I can do stuff that you don't normally see.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, like I know a lot of printers have like regular white business cards with Times New Roman font, and I'm like, dude, you were trying to advertise to people that you can make cool things.
But that's classic.
It's not classic. It just looks like what?
It's classic.
But like for example, this particular card I stapled to I stapled to the receipt that I signed for my pizza. And my pizza guy called me up and asked me if he could get T-shirts from me yesterday.
That's just like a dream.
Yeah, it's just a thing that you do.
When you entered into his office, did he try anything weird?
No.
That's a totally different
dream. He was like, "You want to help me make a pizza?" I was like, "I do." And so we talked about T-shirts and made pizzas together. It was a wonderful afternoon.
That sounds really cool.
It was cool.
So what else? Anything else this week?
I worked with the Saudis. So that was the last thing I had to do this week, was going over a market research report on the opportunity for e-cigarettes in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I had to 4 times remind the company I'm working with that it's not the nation of Saudi Arabia, it's the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Obviously.
Yeah. So
everybody knows that.
Yep, white people.
White people.
White people.
Okay, that's enough for your week. I'm sure.
Tell me about your week.
There's like 800 more things.
There are. That's yeah.
This week, let's see. I wrapped up I started a retainer for a client last week.
Okay.
I think I was working on it last week, and there was just a couple more things. No, it was 2 weeks ago. Why am I still? This retainer was awesome, and it's ongoing. So I probably didn't do too much work. I'm thinking about this client, which is really nice. The specifics of the retainer is that I work 2 days a month for this client, and that's like guaranteed money. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. And I started last month. I started in June. I did some work for 2 days in June, and I've been obviously keeping track of what the progress is on that website that I've been working on, seeing if there's like more leads coming in. I can't say there's more leads because I honestly wasn't tracking them very well previous to the last month because I wasn't getting paid to. But now I'm getting paid to. So every time an email comes in saying that there's a phone call for this company, I'm pretty excited because it makes me look like I'm doing my job well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I just got re-upped for the month of July yesterday for this retainer. So they were actually happy with the work I did, which is almost mind-blowing.
Well, you know what it is? People are happy with transparency.
Yeah, it's very transparent.
You have engaged in a relationship with this person that's very transparent, and that creates an instant level of comfort. Because most marketers are kind of cloak and dagger buzzword throwers.
Buzzwords.
Yeah, they throw buzzwords like daggers from beneath a ninja's cloven.
Yeah.
They're like, do not look at what I'm doing. SEO, leads. They just throw words at this person, and every time they ask for some sort of. I think there's a lot to be said for the fact that the way you're working right now is going in and saying, I want to track all of my work to show you what I'm doing.
I've been historically very transparent. I've just
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I've generally not asked for a bunch of money to go with that transparency, which is that's my new move. That's my new move in 2014, end of the rest of the year, and then going in 2015. My next goal was this, obviously. Yeah, but it's to find marketing clients who have revenue of over $1 million a year. I've yet to that I know of. Here's the other thing. I've historically not known the financials of the people I've worked with. That's a big mistake.
No, yeah, NDA.
Yeah, I'm in a non-disclosure agreement.
Exactly.
And then of course I'm gonna base my my own work on increasing these numbers.
Absolutely.
So it's there's a lot of benefit in me getting to see these numbers. But yes, I will be using these numbers to gauge whether or not this is a client that I want to work with, because I'm pretty sure if someone has an online business, I can make them more money as a percentage, right? A percentage of the whole.
Absolutely.
And the more money they make online, the more money I can make them.
Absolutely. And the more money you should be able to take from them.
Exactly. Okay, so besides that, I've been very much engaged in that side project that I mentioned, the managed web hosting. I just got an extra feature built, which is really cool. So I'll just explain the whole project. I am creating a WordPress web host for people who have historically have not been cash rich. So I do want to keep working with all types of clients. I just don't want to. I don't want to engage them as a concierge consultant. I don't want to work with them over a long period of time, like doing work when I could be working with other people. I could be hunting other projects. And so what I'm doing is I'm creating a web host that will allow these other types of clients to continue working with me, right? I'll be able to build a website for them instantly. And I mean, I won't be building it. The web host itself will be building these sites. And so getting back to the work that I've finally received this week and what I've been working on, there are other managed web hosts out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even just getting a blog on WordPress.com that's managed web hosting, and I'm very much using the same technology for what I'm doing, but I sort of invented something that doesn't exist on other web
Hosting,
products.
yeah,
anything really, and that's a tool that'll allow you to write your own content on your website, and it's really exciting. I know it sounds stupid, but there's already a plethora of page builder options out there, right? Like,
sure.
So you can design your own web pages really easily, and that's built into this hosting product too. But that gets you like 90% through your website. I figure that being able to actually publish content on this website to write sales marketing is it's like an additional 9%, right? Like just the ability to write your own sales copy that gets you up to 99%. And of course you've got to do it, and that's the last 1%. You've got to put forth some effort. So this tool, the sales copy tool, it's part of that drag and drop page builder. And when you select we're calling them modules. When you select your module, you have a series of text options, right? Like, so there's for building this particular page, you have 25 different components to the sales page, and so you're going through, and you say you click on the first one. I think it's called Ask a Question, and then there's like 13 frameworks for asking a question to start your sales copy. And then you select which framework you want to start with, and you can edit that. As soon as you press save, it's on the page. That's all it is. So that's actually really exciting for me, because again, this piece does not exist in any other product I've ever seen. And I actually think that sales copy it's definitely the most underrated part of any website. It's historically been the most difficult to get done, because the client doesn't want to help you write it, and the client can't write it themselves. Like, it's so hard for everyone to do.
Which is crazy, because most of our clients, when you think about this, most of our clients are the person that sells that product.
Yeah, they can sell in person, but they
have no idea how to break it apart. And this is when you and I were talking about that kind of formula of you get about 3 minutes. So if you closing over the phone takes you 45 minutes, then you need to write 15 emails that break down that 45 minutes.
Right.
Getting that across to them seems to be one of the most difficult things in this process.
Right, and this tool would actually allow you to You can write as many sales pages as you want. It doesn't really matter. And obviously they're going to be slightly different from each other. But the moral of the story is that this whole system lets clients build their own websites.
Well, here's to me, what makes it so much different is that everybody else that builds a managed web host that I've seen comes from the web hosting side.
It's super technical.
Yeah, they're all about that. And you came from the web marketing side.
Yeah.
And when you put this together, and I don't know if you even realize this, but all of the stuff that you get paid thousands of dollars to do, you still learn it.
Yeah, of course.
And it still sticks in you.
Yeah.
And what I've been watching you do is actually automate those things that you have, as you're finding ways to automate them, because you're getting paid thousands of dollars to find solutions to automate them, you're applying that stuff to this auto builder.
Yeah.
And what it's going to do is, and this is what excites me, I'm really excited for its launch, but I'm excited to see it in a year and 2 years down the road, because I know the way your mind works. You'll constantly be applying these things that bigger clients are paying you to do. You'll be scaling down an automated solution into your builder. I know that about you.
So what he's saying is, no matter how much I charge for this product, it's well worth it.
It's never going to be enough, because basically it's your gift to I don't want to It's
what I'm leaving behind.
Yeah, but it's like this idea that as you walk up this mountain of marketing and gain all this knowledge, what you're leaving behind is this very easy to attain breadcrumb trail that anybody can pick up and follow without having to take your time.
Yeah.
Like, that's the amazing part, is you found a way to share your knowledge without sharing your time in an automated form.
Yeah, because I kind of hate doing the same thing over and over.
Oh, absolutely. Well, who doesn't? Once you've solved a problem, well, actually, once you've found a possible solution to a problem, there's no reason to have to keep doing it over and over if you can just...
Right. If you can build a solution.
If you can automate it.
Yeah, you can take it and you can make a product. You can productize your consulting.
Absolutely.
Or you can consult your product. Either way.
Yeah.
Either way. And I'm trying to do both, right? I'm trying to build a consulting business that gives me some capital, and I want that consulting to be it's going to be a checklist. It's just, you go through this when you meet a lead. You do this, you do this, you do this. Once you sign that lead into a contract, you do this, you do this, you do this. So it's very much a product in itself that I could potentially sell to someone else. And then the product, the actual product that I'm creating is that's going to be dummy proof. That'll be transferable, infinitely transferable.
I agree.
And it might asexually reproduce. I don't know.
It may.
It might.
It might become sentient and begin selling things and making its own money and buy its own robot body and then leave.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, it would be dangerous.
It would.
Fund its own research in cybernetics.
Man.
All through selling online T-shirts.
This is how it goes. Okay, so we talked about what we've been working on this week. What do you want to accomplish next week?
Well, as you know, next week I'm actually going to be attempting to sell one of my businesses.
He's selling a business. One of your myriad of businesses.
One of the main ones.
Yeah.
I'm going to be selling half of the printing businesses. Both of them.
What's the name of this printing business?
DTG Chicago and Timber Graphics.
Okay.
The two businesses that are getting sold.
Okay.
So I'll be keeping Minion Works, my baby, and I will be selling half of the print shops that account for about 60% of my income.
Okay. That's a big thing next week. And that could be a good payday.
It could be a great payday, and the more exciting thing is I'm not willing to give up half of 60% of my annual revenue unless these people can show me a plan to build that.
Right.
Because just giving me a chunk of money for me to share that revenue with them is not very smart for me.
Yeah, it's a weird business model.
Yeah, it would be like it's like when the mayor was like, "Hey, give me some upfront money and I'll give you all of the revenue of the parking for years."
Yeah, you gotta.
Dumb plan.
It's a dumb plan.
It's a very dumb plan.
I think he already lost as much money.
Oh, absolutely.
At this point, 4 years later.
What I'm most interested in is, putting together an actual. These gentlemen have written up a strategy on how to, in their opinion, almost quadruple the sales of the business.
They've been thinking about this.
A lot.
Good.
So they've asked to, set aside a lot of time this week to kind of go through it and put together milestone markers. And they've already set up a high rise for themselves of their top 70 clients they want to go after right off the bat.
Right.
So it's been good. Seeing.
So this could work out pretty well.
It could work out really well, and it could free up a lot of time for me to focus on the things like the book.
Yeah, and also sometimes it's nice to get someone else to worry about the stuff that you
Division of labor.
Yeah.
Scale is contingent upon division of labor.
Well, and also when you spend a lot of time with a project or a company, you no longer have fresh eyes. So these guys have fresh eyes.
You know, they've already turned over a lot of stuff that I didn't even think of.
Mm-hmm.
Just in terms of aggressively pursuing niches in the service industry, like restaurants and bars, stuff that I had not thought of going after in them.
Okay.
That's not hyper competitive.
Yeah.
Because they just, they come from that business.
Yeah.
They saw a need for printing in specific niche places, and they came to me with some fresh eyes. And that's what made it appealing. I've had a couple of people over the years be like, hey, I'd buy your stuff. And it's like, yeah, but why would I sell you my printers? Why would I sell you my revenue? I could stand still and make quite a bit of money every year. So I wouldn't want to give it up unless it was worth it.
It has to be worth it.
Absolutely.
Okay, anything else you're working on?
Not until after Ramadan.
Yeah, that's a big deal in this household.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing? I'm gonna keep working on the web host thing. I want to get the beta up by Friday. I'm gonna be in the Bay Area next Saturday, so I'm peacing out of Chicago.
Narnars, bro.
Never to return.
Never?
Never. I'm burning the
You
city
say
down.
that every time you leave, though. You're like, I'm never coming back ever, and then you're back for a month.
Don't rub it in my face.
You love us. Don't listen to that rub in your face.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna be working on the web host. I literally want to get a finished beta.
That'd be amazing.
I guess a beta is not finished, but I want to be able to host somebody's website.
Host the book's website.
I'll host the book's website.
And there you go. I got the chapter list done last night, actually.
Awesome. We'll talk about that in a second. And obviously, I'm preparing to leave Chicago next week. I'm trying to buy a bike.
That thing's very cool.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get a disassemblable bike for all these travels that I do. I need some wheels, right? And so I want to buy a bike that has these things that are called SS couplers built into the frame, so you can disassemble the bike at the frame in two places. You take it apart and then you put it in a suitcase. That's like my new major life purchase.
Yeah, it's amazing because once again you've now figured out a way to make one purchase that will then satisfy a need for a very long period of time, which allows you to amortize the spend on that purchase over a very long period of time. This is something I've always liked about you. You're very different from an American person in that regard. Most people in our country, they satisfy the immediate need with the smallest thing that will fix it.
No.
And you spend a lot of time figuring out, like, okay, what is the minimum amount I can spend for the maximum amount of endurance out of what I need fixed?
80-20. A Pareto principle. If you guys don't know what the Pareto principle is, it's the idea that if you can achieve 80% of the total possible results of any project or effort in with 20% of the input.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an inverse input-output proportion, and sometimes that can be even heavier weight to the input. Sometimes you can achieve 95% of the output with 5% of the input. And yeah, I do definitely try and do that. This bike is actually it's a pretty slick road bike.
Yeah.
What I should be doing is I should be looking for like a traveling bike, so then I can just pack my shit on my bike and go from place to place to place. But surprisingly, I'm very lazy.
You should have them add those S couplers to the fat tire bike.
To the fat tire bike? It's not gonna work. It's not the right shape.
Those tires wouldn't fit in the suitcase?
Yeah, Nick actually was given a fat tire bike, which is a good coincidence because Tour de Fat is tomorrow. We're going. It's amazing.
And I went to a bike shop to pick up my bike and was like, they told me my bike was not ready. I said I need to ride in Tour de Fat this weekend, and they gave me the Tour de Fat bike.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Nick did some consulting work for a bike shop, and they paid him in bicycles.
Nice ones, too.
Very nice ones.
And that's, one of those things. They paid some cash, but I was concerned because I wanted them to have more budget to work on some marketing things after the site.
And they've got bikes.
So I was like, hey.
They're bike rich.
Yeah, you're bike rich and cash poor.
Right.
Save the cash so we can do some more marketing stuff to get more bikes sold and give me some bikes. And it was crazy, but it took took more value in bikes than they would have paid me in cash.
Yeah.
The client is so happy that they're staying on. It's actually who I have to go meet after this this session. Is I'm going to go meet them at the coffee shop and go over some more stuff.
Cool.
So, you know, it's one of those situations where being a little flexible was probably going to keep me a client for life.
Yeah.
And I actually got more value than I would have gotten in hard cash.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'm jealous. I would love a free bicycle.
Well, you know, why don't you
Someday.
find a nice bike shop and
Yeah.
be like, hey, you guys, you obviously need to sell more bikes.
Obviously.
Give people good advice. I mean, that's the key to life. The way I got these guys as a client is they had a very small problem that they were complaining about, and I offered to fix it for free.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to fix this problem, which will give you a little bit of revenue, and as soon as you have that revenue, use that revenue to hire me.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
No, it's consulting in a nutshell.
Yeah, but it's if you meet a business owner and you can give them one quick marketing idea that you know will make them some money, just fucking give it to them, because if they listen to you,
Yeah.
then you know they'll listen to you.
Yeah.
And if they don't, you didn't waste much time engaging or trying to hunt that person as a client.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It helps if you can make that advice have a little bit of a price tag on it, which is
Absolutely.
Which is the nice thing about these
Road
road
mapping calls.
Yeah.
But like with I'm going to end up I'll probably get the liquor store and bar here on the corner as a client. And the reason for that is that I gave them a small piece of advice and I gained their trust forever.
Yeah.
Because I gave them a free piece of advice.
Yeah.
I told them that they should buy disposable flasks for the Puerto Rican Pride Parade.
Yeah.
And give them away with any purchase over $50 of hard liquor. And they had they literally were like, so you've got the contract for whatever it's going to cost to build our website. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, after what you made us, you just tell us what it's going to cost. I'm like,
people would spend extra money just to get the flask.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were buying, instead of buying like a 6-pack of beer, they were buying expensive liquor and putting it into said flask and taking it into the park.
Brilliant.
Yeah, worked out very well.
Well, except for
the fact that there was the inebriated park nonsense that went on later that night.
You probably are responsible for at least several shootings that weekend yourself. Indirectly.
Indirectly, yes. Yeah. That's marketing, though.
It's the butterfly effect.
It's not my problem to worry about the long-term effects outside of monetization. My job is ROI.
That's a YP.
That's a YP.
Yeah, not an MP. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before?
I think this was pretty good for the first session.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, I don't know how people are going to respond. They may all hate us. They may be like, look at those two jerks.
Well, what's going to actually happen is no one's going to see this. It's going to be widely ignored.
Oh, that's excellent.
Because this is live. This is literally live, so nobody currently is watching that we know of. That would be...
No, it says 0 views right there.
Oh, 0 viewers.
So no one's watching.
No one's watching, but it's being recorded, which is a good thing. And, who knows? Like,
maybe people will watch us later.
Maybe the FBI will use this in a case against us eventually.
Well, it's not like I look like I used to look.
Right.
My ID picture was terrible.
Yeah.
With long hair I look very much like a messiah, and with short hair I look very much like a terrorist. It's a catch-22 of my face, I guess.
Often those two things are related.
Triangles.
Yeah, triangles. Okay, so I had fun.
I had a great time.
And the next time we do this, we should try and do it next Friday.
Before you leave?
Before I leave.
Yes. Let's try to do one more together on this couch.
And then we'll use the power of the internet to do it in different locations after that. Virtually.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to wear goggles.
We'll engage. I'll be you and you be me.
Oh, it's fantastic. We'll switch shirts right now.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Have a good day.
Bye.